This conference will now be recorded.
So yesterday we started with what how to create user-defined functions, okay, and we understood what is the difference between user-defined functions and what procedures. Okay, procedures may or may not return the values, whereas function has to return a value. Procedure might return any number of values, whereas a function has to return exactly what one value. Sorry, function can also return what multiple values, but function must return a value. Okay, whereas procedure may or may not return a value. So in continuation to this functions, let me introduce something called as arrays. Okay, so we have something called as array. So what is an array means? If you take our C language context, okay, array is a user defined variable which is a collection of what similar values. Okay, I repeat. In case of C language and C++, array is a variable which is a collection of what? Collection of what? Similar values. But here it is different. Array is a variable which is a collection of what? Multiple values of same data type. Okay, it is a collection of what? Multiple values of same data type. It is like a internal table, but internal table can hold what multiple columns with what multiple rows. Understood? Internal table can contain multiple columns with multiple rows, whereas array can hold only what a single column with what multiple rows. I mean to say multiple values. So I can say array is a variable which is a collection of what multiple values of same data type. Okay, it can hold single column but with what multiple rows, whereas if you take internal table it can contain n number of columns and it can hold n number of rows, whereas array also can hold n number of rows but only one column. Okay, so let's take a very simple example to declare an array and store the data in the array. One second. Okay, so let me create the procedure. I'll open the SQL console, set the schema is set. So I'll create one procedure. I'll give the procedure name as something array demo one, some procedure name array demo one as begin. Okay, so here I'll declare the array. How to declare the array? If you take our C language, if you want to declare integer array, how do you declare? You'll say something like this: int x of what 10. So what is the meaning? It can hold 10 integer values, okay, x of 10 or character y of 10, something like that. Okay, so here in order to declare the array, let me give the array name as something. One second, I'll open one table which we created yesterday. Yeah, this is a table we created, e underscore department. This is the definition of the table, which has got some 5 columns: employee ID, employee name, department number, salary, and commission. Do we have data in this? I'll right click on the table, open data preview. Yes, we are having the data. We are having different department numbers. Fine. So one of the column is department number. Right. So what I'll do is I'll declare one array. No, I've started the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, it's getting recorded. Okay, right. So I'll declare a variable. I'll say v underscore department number. Declare v underscore department number. I want to declare one integer array. Okay, so if I leave it like this, this is considered as what, a integer variable which can store only what, single value. But what I want to store what, multiple values. So in order to declare it as an integer array, I have to use the keyword what, array. Okay, declare v underscore department number int what, array. Then I'll try to retrieve the data from this table. What is the table name? E underscore department is a table name. So I'll declare one dynamic internal table. I tab is equal to, I'll say select star from what, E underscore department. So whatever the data is there in this database table, that will come and sit in the dynamically constructed internal table. Then okay. Now here what I'll do is I'll say v underscore department number. V underscore department number is equal to, okay. I will use one function. So this internal table will contain what data now? The entire table data. The entire table data. So just now we understood array is capable of storing only what? One single column values, any number of values, but only one column value. So for that, I want to store the data, the entire department number column data. So I'll say I will use one function. This is my array name b underscore department number. I will use a function called as, there is a function called as array underscore aggregation, which is used for referring to what? One single column. It is used for referring to one single column from an internal table. So what is the internal table in our context? I tab dot in that internal table, to which column you want to refer? Department number. That's it. So what happens? The entire department number data will come and sit in what? This array v underscore department number. Okay, I will try to print one value in that. So I'll say select what, v underscore department number of 5 from, I'll simply say what, dummy, from dummy. That's all. So let me execute this. Identifier must be declared. Identifier must be declared. V underscore department number, line what, 7. Okay, seventh line, 1 2 3 4 5 6 seventh line here. So I believe I need to give this colon here. So it is not a database table, so it is not recognizing maybe. So let me say effect. Yeah, the procedure is what, created. So what is the change I have done? I prefix this column with what, this column, right? So I created the procedure. Let me try to call the procedure. I'll say call what is the procedure name? Demo one. This procedure doesn't have any parameters, so I'll just simply call the procedure. I'll say effect. Yeah, I got the value of 20, it seems. What is the value I got? 20. So if you go back to this table, okay, I got 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this? 20. Understood? This is the entire column values in the array. I am referring to which index position? Fifth index position. So when I say here, select department number of 5 from dummy, I got the fifth value, which is 20. So what is the meaning? The array index starts from what? 1. So what you have to understand is, what you have to understand from this example is how to declare an array. Okay, we have to use the keyword what here? Array. And how do you, already the data is there in the internal table, but what is the difference I told between the internal table and array? Array, internal table can refer to what? Multiple columns with multiple rows, whereas array can store only what? Single column values. Single column value, any number of values, but only single column. So how to extract a single column from an internal table? we have one predefined function called as what? Array underscore aggregation. So I have to refer to the internal table, and in that internal table, which column you want? Department number. So the entire data would be available in what? V underscore department number. Okay, I want to refer to a specific value. How do you refer to a specific value in any array? By referring to its index position. Okay, so I'm saying V underscore department number of 5 from none. Anyway, we'll see many examples. We'll understand those things. Now let me create one more array. Before creating the array, what is the function I use there? Array underscore aggregation. Okay. So before creating one more procedure, let me create one table type. I require one table type. One second. Do we have the table type? No, I don't have the table type. So let me create the table type. Okay. So I'll create a table type. Already I think you know how to create the table type. So I'll quickly create type. Let me take the table type name as something T underscore products. T underscore products as table. Okay, already we have seen the syntax last week. So I'm trying to create a table type. In this table type, I'll take some columns like products or product ID. I'll take product ID varchar of 100. I'll take another column. I'll take it as something category varchar of 100. Then I'll take another column like price. Let me give the data type as something decimal of what? 15 comma 2. Done. So this is a table type we will create. Table type is what? Created. So if you in under procedures, if I refresh this table type, yeah, this is a table type T underscore products. So I'll be using this table type for the rest of the scenarios. So what I'll do now is I'll create one procedure. In that procedure, I'll refer to this particular table type. I'll create a procedure, create procedure. I'll give the procedure name as something products array. Yeah, for this procedure, I'll take one output parameter. How do you refer to the output parameter? You have to say what? Out. Already we know this. I'll give the output parameter name as something itab, and I need to refer to this particular table type. So out itab, what is that? T underscore what? Products. T underscore products. Done. That's all. As begin. Now in the earlier example, I declared what? One array of type what? Integer. Now let me declare three different arrays. Okay, so I'll say how to declare arrays. Declare. I'll give the array name as something product ID. Product ID. I'll give the data type as something varchar of something 20. We have to use the keyword what? Array. Then another array I'll declare category. Let me declare this also as varchar of 20 array. Then declare what is the other column I took here? Price. So here also I'll take the array name as price. I'll give it as something decimal of what? 15 comma 2. I'll say what? Array. Done. So in the earlier example, what we did is uh, how you are filling the data in the array. Already the data is there in the internal table. From the internal table, we are referring to one of the column data by using a function called as what? Array underscore aggregation. Array underscore aggregation. So here what I'll do is, let me fill the data manually. Okay, I'll fill the data manually. So I'll say product ID. So just now we understood from this example, the array index starts from what? 1. So I'll say product ID. Okay, product ID of 1. Product ID of 1 is equal to what? Product 1. Some name I'll give product 1. Like this, let me assign some data. I'll change the indexes here. So what I'm doing is manually I'm filling the data in my array by referring to what? Those indexes. Then we have three different arrays. So let me change the array names here. What is the second array name? Category. I'll check category A, category B, category C. Done. Similarly, what is the other one? Price. Price of 1 is equal to, I'll give, since it's a decimal array, so I should not give any single quotes. Directly I'll give the data, something 17.2. This is price of 2. Let me assign some data here. Price of 3 equal to 7. So what we did is we declared three different arrays, three individual arrays. I am manually filling the data in those arrays. Okay, done. Done. So in the earlier case, what I did, the data is there in the internal table. From the internal table, we are extracting the column. Okay. Here I'll do reverse. Sorry, what is that? Price of 2. Spelling mistake. Price of 2 done. Okay. So now what I'll do is, the data is there in the array. Now this array data, I want to store it in my internal table. Okay. So earlier the data is there in the internal table. I'm extracting the data from the internal table. Now I'll say itab is equal to, we have a function called as unnest. Unnest. You can visualize this similar to what? Concatenate. Concatenate. So I'll say unnest of, what are the array names? Product ID. So you have to use this column there. Product ID. Then what is the second array name? Category. Category. Then the third array name is what? Price. Done. As what are the column names you want in the internal table? I want the same column name. So I'll say product ID. Okay, so I'll say category. Category. Then I'll take another column. Same column name I'll take. Something what? Price. That's all. And so reverse of the previous example. Okay, now in this example, the data is there in the array. This entire array data I want to concatenate, I want to combine and assign it to what? Internal table. So what is the function I'm using here? Unnest. Unnest. Now let me try to call the procedure. Yeah. So what is this itab here? Itab is a return parameter, so it should return me this particular internal table data. Let me try to call the procedure. So we have not yet executed this. Let me execute. I'll select the block, save it. Yeah, the procedure is created. Call the procedure. So I'll say call. What is the procedure name? Products array. Products array. What is the signature of the procedure? It contains an output parameter. So we know how to bind it. We have to take what? One placeholder. So what are the data my procedure is returning? That will be bounded to this particular placeholder. So when I execute, good, I got the data. So this is my internal table data. Product ID, category, and what? Price. Understood. So you can understand this unlist as similar to like what concatenate. Concatenate is used for what? Combining individual values to what? A single string value. Here, unlist function will combine multiple array values into what? A single internal table. Okay. Now, one thing you have to understand here is this array has got how many values? Three values. This array also has got three values. Price also has got what? Three values. It's not compulsory that I should have same number of rows in each array. It can be different also. Okay. For example, let me just copy this. I'll make slight changes. Create procedure. Products array one. I'll take same thing, almost same. The only change I'll do is here in this particular array. Let me take some four values. I'll take some four values. Also product ID of 4 is equal to product 4 here. Let me take three values. Price also I'll take three values. That's all. Okay, everything is same. The only change is the first array has got four values, four rows, I mean to say. Category has three rows and price also has got three rows. So I'm using the unlist function. So when I execute, when I say effect, yes, the procedure got created. No issues. I'll try to call products array 1. Here also it contains an output parameter. Done. F8. Yes, you can see here. Product ID here I got value and this has got null values. So it need not be similar number of rows. So when you are using the unlist function, whatever the arrays we specified, it need not contain same number of rows. It can contain different number of what? Rows. Hope it's clear. Right, so we just understood how to declare the array and how to populate the data into the array. In this example we are populating the data to the array by referring to one of the column in the existing internal table, and that is done by using what? Array underscore aggregation. And in this example we have declared the array and we are filling the array data manually by referring to that indexes, and we are combining all the arrays data into a single value, into a single internal table, and that is done by using what? Unnest function. Any questions in this part so far? Okay, right, let me take one example.
Sir, there is a
Hmm.
small question.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, we declare the table type along with the
Correct.
procedure as out,
Okay.
and it table type already we declare the columns, right?
Yeah,
So again
correct.
here we are writing our own the column aliases.
Acha, good point. Good point. Okay. Yeah, understood your doubt. What you are saying is when you are creating the procedure, we are referring this output parameters of type table type, and this table type already has got some three columns. Okay. And what you are saying is when you are using the unlist function, again we are trying to refer to the column names. Okay. Right.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'll do one thing. Let me create one more procedure. I'll give the procedure name as create procedure product array 2. Here also the output pointer is referring to the same table type, which has got three columns. What are the three columns? Product ID, category, and what? Price. Product ID, category, and price. So here what I'll do is in this procedure 2, when I'm using the unless function, I will not specify this syntax. So what we are trying to understand here is already this itab is mentioned as of type what? T underscore products. So let's see whether it will take automatically the column, it will associate the column headings or not. Yeah, this is what your doubt, right, Raj?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So done. IT underscore products. Done. I'll try to execute this. Yeah, F8. Good. What is the error I got? Attribute name. Good. What is saying it? See, procedure products array to attribute name product ID different from attribute name colon product ID. So here, when you're referring to the array, we are using the column name. Na? We are using colon here, right? So
Yes.
this entire thing is considered what? Attribute name. Okay. But in this internal table, what is the column name? Only what? Product ID. So it is not recognizing that. I'll do one more change. I will remove these columns here. I'll remove these columns. Okay. So let's see whether it takes this. F8. No, I got an error. Parameter must be an array variable. Colon may be missing before the variable name. So understanding is when you're referring to that arrays in the unless function, I must use what? Colon. Okay, done. I'm using the colon. Okay, so these are my array names. This individual array, I should bound it to what? Each column in my internal table. Each column in my internal table. So I'll say as I'll do one thing. Here, let me give the column name as prod ID. Okay, this I'll give it as what? Category, and this I'm giving it as price. So I believe this also should give me the error because this is prod ID, but in the what table type, the column name is not product ID. So let's see whether this works or not. F8. Yeah, I got an error. Attribute name product ID different from the attribute name or product ID. Okay, so it must be what? Same. Hope it's clear, Raj.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I create this, yes, the procedure got created. Yeah, others is it clear to everyone? So compulsory the column names you have to specify explicitly, and it should be same. Done? Okay. Now let me take one more example which uses functions, all those things. Already I have prepared that. 1 second. Yeah, we have a table e underscore department, which has got how many columns here? Some five columns: EMPID, ename, department number, salary, and what? Commission. Okay, salary and commission. Okay, so here what I'll do is 1 second.
Hi, Sridhar. This is Srinivas.
Yeah, Shinas. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yesterday you have class. Sorry for the disturbance. Sorry.
Yes, we had the class yesterday. Yes.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. Okay. After this meeting, I can talk with you. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, what I'll do is we have an existing table which has got five columns: employee ID, employee name, department number, salary, and what? Commission. So based on this table, let me create one more table. So my overall requirement is something like this. Already I prepared it. See here. 1 second. What is the data in this table? Yeah, it has got some 8 records. What are the employee IDs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the data available. So based on this table, which has got 5 columns, I want to create one more table. Okay, what is the original table name? E underscore department, which has got some 5 columns. So based on this table, I want to create one more table, but not with the same structure. This new table should contain only 3 columns: employee ID, employee name, and a salary. Okay, and when I'm creating this table based on this existing table, I don't want the data. I want only the structure. In that structure also, I want to refer only to what? 3 columns: employee ID and employee name, and what? Something what? Salary. Okay, so first let me create this table based on the existing table, then we'll go to this requirement. So how do you create now? Already the table is available. So based on this table, I want to create a new table. So I'll say create column table, create column table. What is the table name I want to create? E underscore department underscore copy. Do we have the table here? I don't think we have that name. E underscore department underscore copy is not there. Okay, so let me create column E underscore department underscore copy as a table. Sorry, not as table, as I want only a few columns. Okay, I want only few columns from the existing table. So I'll say select what are the columns I'm interested with: employee ID. Then I'll take another column employee name. Then I'll take another column salary. Employee ID, employee name, salary from what is the existing table? E underscore department. Done. Then I'll say with no data. I believe already we have covered this syntax 1 week back only. So based on the existing table, I'm creating a new table with the specific columns and I don't want the data. So I'm using addition called with no data. So when I execute this, F8, yeah, the new table got created. So let me refresh. Yeah, the new table is created, E underscore department copy. If I open the definition, yes, my new table has got only 3 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, and this should not contain any data. Yeah, there is no data in this particular table. Done. Done. Okay, so there is no data available. Now what I'll do is, okay, 1 second. Let me open one existing table type. It has got different. Okay, so I'll do one thing first. Yeah, this is my table. What is the table name? E underscore department, which has got how many columns? Some 5 columns: employee ID, employee name, department number, salary, and commission. So based on this table, I created a new table, but only with what? 3 columns. Now what I'll do is, uh, let me create one table type. I'll create one table type which has to refer to this particular columns, which has to refer to this particular column. So I'll create one table type because I want to use that. So I'll say create type. I'll give the table type name as something ty underscore e underscore department as table. So I'm trying to create a table type. So I'll take the columns here. Employee ID of what? Integer. Then I'll take another column employee name. Let me take it as varchar of 20. Then a department number, I'll take it as integer. Then I'll take another column salary. I'll take it as decimal of what? Something 12 comma 2. Done. Then I'll take commission. I'll take it as something decimal of what? 6 comma 2. That's all. So I'm creating a new table type. Let me execute. Yeah, the table type is got created. So if I refresh, the table type is created, ty underscore e underscore department. Now let us try to understand the requirement here. So if you see the requirement, based on this table, I created a new table with only specific columns but without any data. So I want to make use of it. What is the first requirement here? See, I want to create a table function. Okay, I want to create a table function to return the data from what? E underscore department table as a table type. Try to understand. I need to create a table function to return the data from this table as a table type. So that is the reason I want to return this data, but I want to return it as what? Table type. Okay, that's the reason I created a table type which has got the same columns. So let me create the function. Yesterday also we have created the user defined function, but I believe yesterday we created a scalar user defined function. Yesterday I told you that functions are user defined functions are classified into two types. One is scalar user defined function, another is table user defined function. Scalar user defined function means which takes the primitive data types as parameters and which returns primitive data types as what? Parameters. When I say primitive data types, our normal fundamental data types, integer, character, all those things comes under what? Primitive data type. Table user defined function means what is the meaning? Which returns table data. Which returns what? Table data. So yesterday we created one function like some options. Yeah, this is a function I created which has got what? Two input parameters and two output return parameters. All are what type? Integer only. This is a function we created yesterday. Okay. So now what I want to, what is the first requirement? I want to create a table function to return the data from this table as a table type, So already we know how to create the function. So I'll say create function, create function. I'll say something get underscore employee underscore department. Okay, done. I'm not passing any parameters. So because my requirement is to return the entire table data as a table type. So what you have to do? We have to say returns. Every function must return at least one value. So create function so and so returns. What you want to return? I want to return the table data from which table? E underscore department, but I want to return it as a table type. So just now we have created one table type with the same columns. What is the table type name? Ty underscore E underscore department. So I'll say returns ty underscore e underscore department. So why we are seeing this example is, if you see the earlier example, I have taken procedure. Procedure is also having one return parameter. Output parameter is nothing but what? Return parameter. It is referring to what? Table type. So in case of procedure, the return parameters we are able to refer to a table type. Similarly here also, in the function also, we are trying to return a value referring to a table type. So returns so and so. Then I'll say as begin, okay, as begin. Yeah, if you take the procedures, this is important again. If you take the procedures, what are the output parameters there? What are the data you want to return? That data you will assign it to what? Output parameter. What is the output parameter name here? ITab. So what are the data you want to return? At the end of the procedure, you will associate the data to the output parameter so that this data would be returned automatically because it is declared as what? Output parameter. Here in case of function, okay, we have to use a keyword return. Return. Yesterday also we have written what? Two things. So return what? Select star from which table you want to return the data? E underscore department. This is a table which has got some 8 records. So I'll say return select star from what? E underscore department. Done. End. Okay. Let me execute this. F8. Yeah, the function is successfully created. So if I refresh this, the function got successfully created. Now let me try to call the function from the SQL console. If it is a procedure, we know to call a procedure, we use the keyword what? Call. In order to call a function from a SQL console, in order to call the function from a SQL console, we have to use what? Select statement. Select star from what is the function name? Get underscore emp underscore department. Get underscore emp underscore department. Done. Okay, procedure will call by using call statement. In order to call a function from a SQL console, you have to say select so and so from what? So and so function name. So when I execute, done, I got the data. I got the data. Now my requirement is, so we have seen how to create the function, how to call the function from the SQL console. What is the difference between a function and a procedure? Yesterday we have discussed that. What is that? Procedure may or may not return a value, whereas function must return a value. That is the main difference between a procedure or a function. So my requirement is, we have called the function from a SQL console, but I don't want to call the function from a SQL console. I want to call the function from a procedure. This function I want to call it from a procedure so that I can receive that return values. Whatever the values I have received, that values I want to manipulate. Here what we are doing directly from the SQL console, we are using select statement. Whatever the data the function is going to return, it is going to be displayed. But I want to receive this, I want to call this function from a procedure so that I can receive this data into some variable and I can manipulate the data. So what we are trying to understand is how to call a function procedure, and in that, what are the data the function is going to return, I want to receive, and I want to do the further manipulation. So if this is the second requirement here, create a procedure to call the above table function. Okay, so manipulate the return table type. So we know that just now we have created a function. That function is going to return me the table data in the form of table type. So I want to receive that inside a procedure, and I want to manipulate that by using what? Arrays. Okay, so we'll see how to do it. Before I continue, any questions in this so far? Creating the function.
No, sir.
Done. Okay, so let me quickly create a procedure which has to call this function. What is the function name? Get underscore emp underscore department. Okay, so I'll create the procedure. Create procedure. I'll give the procedure name as some name. One second. Okay, so I'll give the procedure name as create procedure. Invoke underscore get underscore employee underscore department. Some procedure name. Okay, done. Okay, as begin. As begin. So what is the requirement? I want to receive that, I want to call that particular function. Okay, I want to call that function. So how do I call means? Just here. I don't know. Someone yesterday asked me, what is that? Yesterday, uh, we have received the data into what? Individual variables. We have received the data into individual variables. Instead of that, can we refer to a what a row kind of thing, work area kind of thing. So in the similar lines, just observe here. I'll declare one variable, declare some variable res. What is the table type we have created? Ty underscore e underscore department, and this function also is going to return the data from this table in the form of a table type. What is the table type name? Ty underscore e underscore what department. So I declare a variable which will refer to that particular table type, ty underscore e underscore department. So you can visualize this is similar to what a work area kind of thing. I declared a variable referring to a table type. Okay, so assume that as a work area. Now I'll say res is equal to select star from what is my user defined function name, get underscore emp underscore what department, get underscore emp underscore department. So earlier we have called that function directly from the SQL console. Now I am calling that function from a procedure block, and whatever the data my function is going to receive, I'll receive it in my a local work area. What is the work area name? RES. Okay, right? So I received that in the work area here. Done. Now what I'll do? Okay, this is nothing but what a kind of what internal table. Now why I'm saying this is an internal table, because it is going to return multiple records. I cannot say exactly as a work area. It is an internal table because it is going to hold what many records now. The function is going to return many records. That data will come and sit in this internal table, and this internal table has got how many columns? Obviously 5 columns. So I want to extract them to 5 different what arrays. So let me quickly declare the arrays here. I'll say declare. I'll give the array name as something empid int what, int array. Done. I'll declare another array employee name, declare ename. I'll give it as something varchar of 20 what array. Then I'll declare another one, declare what department number. Declare department number integer array. The array type should be same. Here it is index decimal and decimal. So I'll say declare what salary what decimal of what 12 comma 2. What is this array? Then I'll declare another array, declare like commission decimal of what 6 comma 2 array. So I declared what 5 different array variables: empid, ename, department number, salary, and what commission. So this is my internal table now. Now I'll say I'll extract individual columns. How do we extract? At the beginning of the session we have seen we have a function called as what array underscore aggregation. Okay, what is the internal table name here? Res dot, which one you want to extract here? Employee ID. Done. Then in the second array ename equal to array underscore aggregation. How do you refer? Res dot, what is the second column in my internal table? Ename, because the table type is having the same column names. Ename. Done. Then what else? Department number equal to array underscore aggregation. Why I'm going for array? Because my requirement is I want to manipulate that return data through arrays. So I'll say department number. So I'm extracting individual column data from my internal table to the respective arrays. Salary equal to array underscore aggregation. Again in the internal table, refer to which columns? Which column? Salary. Done. Then in the final array commission, array underscore aggregation. What is that? Res dot. What is the fifth column? Commission. So what this statements will do? It will extract individual column data from the internal table and will associate to what the arrays, to the arrays. Okay, done. Now what I'll do is, okay, let me declare one more variable. I'll declare one more variable like index, lv underscore index. I'll declare it as integer. Let me initialize to what? 0. So what is the initial value here? Index is equal to 0. So what I'll do now is, done. So how many records are there? This entire data it is going to return now. How many records are there? 8 records. So I don't know how many records are there, but I have to start from first record to what? Last record. So I'll use the for loop. Try to understand the syntax. For what is the variable I declared? lv underscore index in 1 to 1 2 card. Okay, how many rows are there in this array? I don't know. I may have one row, I may have 0 rows, or I may have hundreds of rows. I don't know that. And we know that the array index starts from 1. So for index 1 in, I will use a function called as cardinality. For one of cardinality, what is the array name? empid, sorry, colon empid do, and end for is what? End for. Now I'll say, if in case, if the corresponding salary, okay, salary of what? lv underscore index, lv underscore index, if it is less than 5000, then I'm doing some manipulation. Okay, I'll say salary of what? Salary of what? lv underscore index is equal to what? Current salary, current salary plus some value 100. Done. End for if is what? End if. Done. Okay, so what I'm doing is here, this we understood. What you are doing here, we are calling a user defined function, and we know that this function is going to return me some data. That data I'm receiving in my internal table. This internal table should be of what type? The table type now, because the return type of this function is referring to the same table type. That's why I declare that. Now what I'm doing, I'm referring to individual columns of this internal table. I'm associating the data to the respective arrays. Since my internal table has got 5 columns, I declare 5 different arrays. I'm associating the data by using a function called as array underscore aggregation. So I want to manipulate the data now through what? Arrays. So what I am doing, I am iterating from first row of the array to the last row of the array. I don't know how many rows are there. So how do you refer to the maximum array index? By using a function called about cardinality. Cardinality of empid. So how many records are there here? Obviously 8 records are there. So the last cardinality is what? 8. So 1 to 8, that is understanding. Do what I am doing, if the corresponding salary is what? Less than 5000. So if you see here, there are some records which are having the salary less than what? 5000. Means up to this fifth record. Yeah, 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, and this is 5000. So up to this 4 records, the condition would be what? Satisfied. If it is less than 5000, what I am doing, I am incrementing the salary by what? Something 100. Where I am doing this? In the array level, not in the table level. Remember, the data is there in the array now. So I am incrementing that salary to 100 rupees at the array level, not in the what? Not in the database level. Now what I'll do is, okay, so this empid array has got how many rows? 8 rows now. So I'll say empid, just for understanding, empid of 9 is equal to, I'll assign some data. I'll assign. Let me assign something 91. Then ename of 9 equal to, I'll say something what? Ename of so equal to what? Something Manoj. Okay, so I'm assigning some data manual at which position? Ninth position. Why I'm giving 9 means, one, I know that there are 8 records. That's the reason. At the ninth position, I'm trying to associate the new data for employee id array and employee name array. Now what I'll do is, just try to understand. I'll say res is equal to, I will use a function called as what? Unnest. Unless, what are the array names? empid. What else? Ename. Sorry, I have to use colon. Ename, colon. What else? Over last 5 minutes. Department number, salary, and what else? Commission. Commission. As compulsory, we have to use this what? Column names. empid. res is of what type? It is of type ty underscore e underscore department. What are the column names in that? empid, ename, department number, salary, and what? Commission. empid, ename, what else? Department number, sorry, department number, what else? Salary, commission. So compulsory I have to give the column headings. Done. Now what I'll do is, I believe last week somewhere I used upset statement. Upset statement. Can anyone recollect what is the purpose of upset statement? Upset statement. Anyone? We have seen one example on that last week. Upset. Anyone? Good. Upset is similar to what? Modify. In our ABAP, we have modify statement. Na? Okay. Modify database table from table internal table. So modify will do dual task. It will either insert the new records or update the existing records. Okay. So I'll say upset. What is the database table? E underscore department is a database table. So upset E underscore department. E underscore department. I'll say select star from where is the manipulated data available in my internal table. Na? So I have to use colon res. Done. Colon res. One second. Done. Okay. See the requirement here. What I'm doing, create a procedure to call the above table function. Yes, I'm trying to do that. What I'm doing for the first step, manipulate the return table type. So we have received the data into which variable? Res. I am trying to do the manipulation here using arrays. Okay, so first of all, I collected the data into individual arrays. Then I manipulated the data in that particular arrays. What is the manipulation I've done? What is the manipulation? Wherever the salary is what? Less than 5,000, that corresponding salary I'm incrementing by what? 100. That is the manipulation done at what level? Array level. So after that manipulation, what I'm doing is here, update the manipulated, try to understand, update the manipulated return table type data back to what? Database table. What is the table? E underscore using what? Upset statement. So what this upset will do, it will either insert or what? Modify. So what it has to do here, we have a new record also now in the 9th position. There is a new record. So what this upset will do, it has to insert this new record and it has to modify the existing record also now. Where are the salaries less than 5,000, it has to increment by what? 100 rupees. What are the current salaries as of now? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 and what? 4,000. So here it has to increment by 100 rupees plus I should able to insert one new record, new record, new record. Okay, that is what the upset is going to do. Then what is the last functionality here? Insert the manipulated data to the new table. What is the new table? Already we have created this table now. This table has got how many columns? 3 columns. Okay, using what? Insert statement. Insert will always insert what? New data. So what I'll do is, let me take another variable, something w underscore res. Try to understand what I'll do. Here I'm not interested in all the my target table. My target table contains how many columns? Only 3 columns: emp id, ename and what? Salary. That's the reason I'll refer only to the 3 arrays. What are they? emp id, what else? Emp id, ename and what else? Salary. Salary as usual you have to refer to the column headings. Emp id, done. Ename and what else? Salary. Yeah? In the table the column names must be same. emp id, ename and salary. Done. So here what I'll do, instead of using upset, I'll say what? Insert into what is a new table? E underscore department underscore copy. Simply say select star from what is the new internal table here? W underscore what? Res, which has got only 3 columns. That's all. End of this. So here what should happen? It has to either insert or update. Here it has to purely what? Insert. Anyhow, if you see E underscore department copy, E underscore department copy table, This doesn't have any data. Remember, this doesn't have any data. This has got 8 records, and these are the current salaries. They are the current salaries. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? What I am trying to do here is, the things you have to focus here is, we can call the function from anywhere. In the sense, I can call it at the SQL console, or I can call it inside a procedure. So I called it inside a procedure. Whatever the data my function is returning, I am receiving in my local internal table, which is of same table type. Then what I am doing, I am extracting individual column of the internal table, associating with my arrays, individual arrays. Okay, then I am manipulating the array data by using what? For loop. I don't know how many records are there in the array, so I know that the index of the array starts from 1. So I'm iterating from the first index to the maximum what array position. How do you refer to that? Cardinality of what? EMP ID. So till 8th position it will iterate. In that, if the corresponding salary is less than 5,000, we are incrementing by what? 100 rupees. So this incrementation will be done at array level. At what array? Salary array level. I have to update it back to my database table. So before that, I'm trying to assign new record to my two arrays, EMP ID and ename, and I'm trying to use what? I'm trying to collect that manipulated array data into an internal table. Through that internal table, I'm using what? Upset statement, which will act as what? Modify. Which will act as modify. It will either insert or what? Updates the data. And then in the new table, which has got only 3 columns, I'm extracting those 3 columns into a new internal table, and I'm doing the insert statement. So we are trying to understand the difference between insert and what? Upset. Let me check any syntax errors are there. F8. I got an error. Incorrect syntax error near so and so. Line 21. Where? Anyone? Line 21. Where is the error?
Something there in 137.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking.
So you see the line number 137 there?
Yeah, this one. Salary of what? LV underscore index. Salary of. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is array, na? I'd refer to the cardinality, right? So this is not this brackets, right? That is the issue. It's not normal parenthesis. We are referring to the position of an array. So it should be this square brackets. That is the issue. Here also same thing. We are referring to one of the position of the array. So I have to use that array symbol. Let me try to execute this. F8. Yeah, the procedure is not created. The issue is what? This parenthesis. The procedure is successfully created. Let me try to call that procedure. What is the procedure name? Invoke underscore emp underscore department. This is the procedure name. I'll say call so and so. Done. Let me execute. I'll say F8. Before I execute, this is my actual data. This is my table which has got 8 records, and these are the salaries: 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And this table E underscore department underscore copy doesn't have any data. Keep that in mind. Okay, let me call this procedure. F8. Then it is successfully executed. Let me check the data here. I'll refresh. Good. You can see a new record got inserted, 91 and Manoj, and the rest of the arrays are having null values. And if you see the salaries here, earlier 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, now I got incremented by what? 100 rupees. So upset will do dual task. And if you see this table, when I refresh, yes, it has inserted that particular 9 records with only 3 columns: employee ID, employee name, and what? Salary. Okay, so we are trying to understand how to work with arrays and how to call the function from a procedure and how to manipulate the data using arrays, something like that. And we understood the difference again between what? Upset and what? Insert. Any questions here? Please ask me. Any questions? Done? So practice this. I have shared the yesterday's recording also, but I have not shared the material. I have not yet prepared. I'll prepare it today and I'll share the material also. Recording I'll share it. Okay. This recording also I'll try to share by afternoon. Done? So practice this. We'll see other examples tomorrow.
Bye.
Hello then.
Yeah, Sridhar, can I
Yes,
talk to
Sunil.
you now or can I call you directly to your any contact number?
If you don't mind, can you call me after 1 hour, Srini? Because I'm having another class. Already I got late.
Yeah.
Uh,
What is the contact number for you?
yeah, I'll share that. You can call me at 9 a.m. Indian time.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my number.
9246100812. Yeah.
000812.
Yeah. 00812. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
So you can call me at 9 a.m. Indian time. Okay.
Yeah.
Chalo.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.